Hello, you hardcores out there. How are you doing? It's Russ here from Poker's Corner. The biggest gob in sport. I say the things on here that nobody dare say. We're joined by Richard from Rotherham today. How are we doing, Richard? Let's have a look. Ask to unmute. There we go. Here's Richard. Women love him, men want to wear his watch. What watch we got on today, lad?
I've got actually nothing fancy on it. It's a Tissot T race.
Oh,
It's a gift, yeah. But if you want a nice Swiss automatic watch for under a bag of sand, you can do worse than this. It's lovely. I love it.
good man. Good man. What's weather like up there in South Yorkshire, lad?
Mate, it's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Can you not see me, by the way?
Yeah, I can see you, mate. Yeah, you've got the old aviators on.
Ah, yeah, yeah. I'm back to standard.
Good man. Good man. A lot gone off in the sport of boxing. Did you see the Carl Froch interview with Crusher Ben?
No, I haven't. I saw the thumbnail, and I just couldn't bring myself to click on it.
Yeah,
To be honest,
yeah.
I probably will watch it at some point in time. But I tell you what,
Disappointing. Oh,
was it?
yeah.
Well, I might not watch it then. I mean, I don't know what I expected, but I mean, how's that going, by the way? Were you and him?
Do me and him. Well, I've told him what I thought, so it's up to him, isn't it now? Uh, you know what I'm like. I don't hold back. I'm not bothered how hard they are. It's up to him, innit? People need keep emailing me, so I just say, well, here's his email. Ask him. He knows what he said. You've spoke to him when I've been in his company. So people saying, "Oh, you don't even know him." Look, I don't care what people think. What I care about is him not going back on his word, and then everything he's said he's going back on, it because he wants to get back in mix, and it's pretty embarrassing for him, really. And he can make out that he's trolling and he's doing it for views and that, but really he's quite sensitive, Carl, and I feel let down, and some people I know who know him won't even speak to him now. How he's behaved. I mean, after everything he said, have you seen how he's carrying off? It's shocking, isn't it?
So, well, that bit don't bother me so much. It's like it's a real shame that you've known him for a long time, and I know you were mates. I know that for a fact. So um, it's just a shame when things go south like that. But it is what it is.
Look,
Um, so,
it's this fame bubble, isn't it? Nobody's going to forget what he's done in ring, are they? Nobody.
no,
Nobody's going to forget. It's just a shame that. Man, you know, I don't know what he really feels about drug cheats because I know the hard work he had to put in his career. Do you know what I mean? To get where he wanted to get. So I do know what he feels about drug cheats. And when I see him hanging out at back of Gerald Miller,
listen, mate. Why is that a surprise? I mean, they're all. Listen, you must have seen all stuff with Chisora and Miller. There's nobody giving Miller more stick than Chisora over the last 2 years.
I
He's
know.
called him all names under the sun, and then when they're all together, it's all boys together, all arms around. It's all we're doing this for publicity, and you know what it's like, bro. You know what it's like, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all share limousines together.
It's
It's all nothing. Yeah, it is. That's what it is. You know, and they're all doing it so they can get a couple of quid, and you know that's what it's all about. They just can't be arsed with it. But the thing about it is, you know yourself, when it gets so close to a fight, there's then all this fake trap beef that we know is just a load of crock, don't we?
Yeah, it's like all that beef they have before a fight when people fight, and then after they say, "Well, sorry about that, you just knocked me out on that, but we're just trying to sell fight and all this." It's rubbish,
Yeah.
absolute rubbish. And do you know what? There's more honor amongst criminals and drug dealers than there is boxing.
Well,
It's just so fake.
this is why it's refreshing about Saturday. I have watched a couple of bits and bobs about what's happening on Saturday, and a lot of what's being said, I might not necessarily like a lot of people or some of the people that have been saying it, but when they speak sense, they speak sense, and when they've been talking about Usyk and Dubois, what they've been saying is what everybody's been saying about, what a we're honoured, aren't we, to be watching Usyk on Saturday because um, we are at a time where we are in that period, which is a little bit like the days of Muhammad Ali, where the people that saw him live and experienced that. We're in that time now. That is true. So I saw a couple of people say that on YouTube this week, and I have to agree with them. I didn't think that sort of time had come round in my lifetime, and it has. He's crept up. Usyk's crept up on us slowly, slowly doing his thing, and now we're in the presence of seeing an all-time great, and we've got the pleasure of watching him on Saturday against a decent opponent, a worthy opponent, which is I'm excited about Saturday, mate.
Week of Saturday, isn't it?
It's on 19th. When's that?
Week this Saturday.
Oh, right. Good job you told me then, isn't it? I've been tuning in for the wrong one. I'm looking forward to that as well. Well, I'm looking forward to it. That's my
Not been
point.
on the old red wine, have you, pal?
Mate, no, I'm completely off now. So I think somebody mentioned I was drinking Guinness the other day, but they didn't know it was Guinness Zero. So I've not been on the old sauce for a good few months now. I decided to, after 40 years of not leaving anything on the pitch, I decided to jack in February.
Good man. Yeah, looking at Usyk, look, we're in the presence of greatness. He's always the B side. He's always the away fighter. He's undefeated. Look what he's done. He's wiped two divisions out. He's cleaned up as an amateur. Everything. What 15 losses at 350 fights, rematched 11, and they reckon them other four. Sean Porter were one of them. The guys who managed to slip away from him, and he got an hometown decision. He's absolutely mesmerizing what he's doing, and he's not 39 yet. He's 39, and he just after Christmas. But he's in good nick, isn't he? Let's have it right.
It's flawless. It is flawless. Like I said, I saw some stuff on YouTube. One of the YouTube ones was Barker and Bellew and a couple of the lads, Frampton, and one of the commentators, and I watched a bit of that. And I can take or leave those guys, but what they were saying were exactly right. But at the same time, how could they not? If they were saying anything different, they'd look complete idiots, wouldn't they? So they are saying the right things, but they'd look stupid if they were saying anything different, wouldn't they?
Yeah, well, they want the bar to get beat anyway, but Tony Bellew is going to do nothing but big the man up, isn't he? Because he basically just tore him apart, didn't he? Once he went through the gears.
Yeah, he went through the gears. I didn't think it was a terrible performance by Bellew, but you know, it just showed you that the difference in a bit cliche in it, but the just difference in levels. He just worked him out. Absolutely stood him on his head after fifth round. You know what I mean? Just stood him on his head. He didn't have nowhere to go, and nobody's done that to Bellew, have they? Apart from when he were boiled down. To be honest, no, nobody's done that, have they?
Yeah.
So no matter whether you rate Bellew or not, nobody's done that to him.
Yeah, what he does, he has a little look at them at first, doesn't he, Usyk? He has a look at them and then he tries different things. He went, I remember seeing an interview with Bellew, and Bellew said he went through three or four different variations what he offered him, but everything he did was done with movement. And he said he was just knackered by the time he picked him off. He said because he didn't know what were coming. He went through all these different game plans, and he just tired him out mentally. And I think he did that to Dubois at first, right? Do you agree?
Well, Dubois, yeah, Dubois definitely come undone. I think that I don't think Usyk figured him out as quickly. I think that, but he figured him out, and I think he'll have learnt from that, and I think he'll dominate this fight. I do. I think that a lot of experts think that it could be a little bit of a war first six rounds, and there's not a backward step going to be taken and all that. But I don't think Usyk's going to be drawn into a war. Why would he be drawn into a war? He's not stupid. He's not going to do things just because people expect it. He'll have a game plan and he'll execute it. And he's one of these fighters. I talk about it a lot. A lot of people do, but he's one of these fighters. If plan A don't work, he's got a plan C, and then he's got a plan C, and then he's got a plan D. Like you say, he'll work him out, and if that's not working, he'll just change it a little bit, and if that's not working, he'll change it again, and that's what makes him, better than everybody else. He's amazing.
Have you noticed when he gets clipped, he comes straight back with something else? He doesn't rest on his laurels and backtrack. I've never seen him backtrack once.
No, I mean that were evident in Tyson, wasn't it? I mean, that I fancied Tyson for both of those fights, and and it's a bit. I mean, think Usyk, for hardcore fans anyway, he was everybody's second favourite fighter, wasn't he? For 4, 5, 6 years, he was everybody's second favourite fighter. Everybody's got like a favourite and who they root for and everything else. Tyson Fury were mine, probably, especially in heavyweight division. He was, and I still like him. No matter what's going on, I still think he's brilliant. But he's everybody's second favourite fighter, and the last 2 or 3 years, just because of what he's done, you sort of grudgingly have to say, flipping heck, you just can't argue with what he's done. As much as you want somebody from UK to be best. And as much as I wanted Tyson Fury to win those fights, you just got to hold your hands up, haven't you, and just take your hat off to somebody who's a genius, and he's a genius.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's. What do you think about Fury coming out saying they're going to fight in April? Do you think there might be a few obstacles in way of that? And you think he's a bit cheeky just demanding that fight because he'll have been out at ring 16 months, won't he?
It's the same old story, mate. I'm almost fed up of saying it, but it don't matter how much you've got. If Turkey Al Sheikh says, "Well, how much do you want?" and Fury says X, and in Turkey says, "Yeah, all right," well, where's he going to go?
Yeah.
And then he's got everything in his favour. That fight won't depend on Fury. That'll depend on Usyk. It'll be whether Usyk wants it.
Yeah.
And Usyk, he likes a pound note as much as anybody else, I'm sure. But Usyk, if he decides it's not right for him, it won't be the money. I don't think, anyway. I don't think it'll be the money that sways him. If he thinks he's got a really strong chance of losing that fight, I don't think he'd take it on. So it'll all depend on Usyk. It won't depend on Fury. Fury will just demand an amount of money that he thinks nobody will offer him. And Turkey will say, there you go, yeah, it's in your back pocket, that, mate. Don't worry about that. And then that part of it's done. So it won't be a money thing. It'll be whether Usyk wants it. The question is, why would Usyk want it?
Yeah. Well,
I'm asking you, mate. Why
would Usyk want that? Well, he's beat him twice comfortably. All the experts had it 9 rounds to 3, both fights, and one of them was a 10-8 round. So I don't think it warrants a third fight, to be honest. Would Joshua and Usyk have a third fight? Would that warrant him?
Yeah, I don't agree with that scoring second fight. I had it a lot closer than that. And even the rounds that Usyk won, they were very tight rounds, in my opinion. Did I think he lost the first fight? Absolutely, no doubt about it. Did he lose the second fight? Yeah. But I think it were close, mate, and the rounds that both of them won, they were paper thin for me.
But does it warrant a third fight, Richard?
No, not on that base. On the basis that for Usyk, what's he got to prove? No, is it an interesting fight because they were good fights? Yeah, I'll always see a good fight, no matter what level it is. You could if somebody's lost 4 times and it's been close and you can see I'll always watch a good scrap based on that. But as regards proving who's best and from that point of view, that's been proven. So it'll all be down to Usyk. It doesn't warrant a fight on the basis that it'll be a good, watchable fight, and will it be entertaining? Yeah, yeah. Um, and what I tell you, what I'd like to see somebody put it on Fury, which will never happen, is nobody says to Fury, does it? Do they? Well, why couldn't you? You know, moaning about this decision. You said you were gonna wipe the floor with him. Why was it tight, Tyson? Why didn't you knock him out, Tyson? What are you gonna do next, Tyson? You know, you said all this stuff about it. Why was it even close? You've been making out that it was going to be a relatively easy night's work for you. Rabbit this, rabbit that. He's a middleweight. Blah blah blah. How come? How come he's put you in this position? Why aren't people saying that to Fury?
Because they want access, don't they? That's the problem, you see. Is these people that do the views, your Tyson Furies and people like that, and Eddie Hearns and Bricktops or Eddie Hills, people want access and they don't want to be out the circle. You've seen what goes on. I mean, look what they've done to Frotch at Sky. He won't wear a Black Lives Matter badge, so it didn't renew his contract. He's said a few things about Bricktop, so Bricktop's done his best to keep him off DAZN, and that looks like that's happened. You know what I mean? So he's had to go full on with his YouTube channel and call them all out. I need to get a bit of access. But for Frotch, the last game in town now is Turkey because Bricktop and Eddie have given him cold shoulder, haven't they, now, as regards access to interviews on his channel. So
Yeah, there's a lot of that, and there's also a part of nobody just wants to upset or embarrass him with that question.
well,
That Tyson can't bring himself to say, "Look, the guy is." He'll say he'll admit he's a top boxer, but he'll not say, "Hey, listen, the guy's way better than I thought. He is a genius." It were, I don't know. I've got to do something, totally different in a third fight. I don't know what that is yet, but I'm going to work on it, and I'm going to try something new, and I'm going to come at it a different way, because he can't admit that to himself. He'll never admit that sort of thing in his mind. He can go out and have 10 pints and beat anybody. That's the case for 80% of heavyweights. It's not the case for top 20%,
yeah,
especially now. So they don't want to embarrass him with that sort of question. He'll never admit that there's somebody in his stratosphere. Yeah, he'll admit they're dangerous. He'll admit that they've got attributes. He'll talk about heavyweights. Anything can happen. Blah blah blah. But he'll never give Usyk his proper credit. He'll never say, "Look, this bloke's a once in a lifetime," because he thought it was him. And up until a couple of years ago, I was thinking it could be the same thing. It's not. As much as I don't like saying that, to a point, it's not, is it? It's Usyk. And we've, like I said at the beginning of the video, mate, we've all got to be conscious of the fact that we're living in this time right now. We're seeing this. We're seeing our equivalent great. I don't want to talk about greatest of all time. It doesn't really matter. But in this era, right now, we're witnessing it. And we're witnessing it in the heavyweight division. And other than Floyd Mayweather, there's been nobody like him in the last 20 years.
well, look at the
Not
size of
since
some
the
of these
golden age.
people. Look at the size of some of these people that he's dealing with. They're taller than him, they're heavier than him. He's a way fighter. We are in the presence of greatness, and we need to enjoy him while he's. But I look at him now differently, like I did when he won the Olympic gold at heavyweight, Usyk, because Joshua obviously won it at super heavy. I look at him now, and there's like an aura about it. And I've spoke to people who've been around him, and the guy just the people look at him like they're amazed. It's like looking at Ali in his pomp.
Yeah, these guys that you're talking about. Listen, I used to be a big kid back in the day, but these guys are just through evolution and just through a couple of generations. They are huge.
Yeah,
They are huge. They are generation of, can't even say it. Through generations, they are just bigger.
yeah.
They are bigger. 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", knocking about in shape at 20, 21 stone. They are huge. You know, people would have thought they were freaks in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
You know, they're all George Foreman. They're all that big. I don't mean that. I don't mean they carry that much power, all of them, but they're all that big.
Yeah.
They are massive, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, George Foreman was 6'3" and 16 stone, and that's what Usyk is. But he's got the movement and he's a southpaw. These are 19 stone, 20 stone, and 6'7" plus, aren't they?
Yeah, they're just massive specimens. It's just like I say, it's a different generation. In fact, it's two generations since the 70s, and they're just naturally bigger and naturally stronger. And I've seen some of these guys close up. Like I say, I used to be a big lad back in the day, but you stand next to them and they are massive, mate. They are really really big lads.
But he's dealing with a
Uh,
Usyk, isn't he?
he's standing them on their heads. He
Yeah.
really is. And you know, again, cliches again. That's why it's called the sweet science. I mean, if they grabbed hold of him outside at ring, may or may not be a different story. But it's not about that, is it? It's boxing, and he's got it nailed. And they just can't do anything with him. You can't rip them gloves off, Rocky Balboa, Hulk Hogan style, can they? They can't do anything about it.
No,
Um, they've got to try and cope with it within the rules, and he's just got them nailed.
yeah, he's a fantastic fighter. Okay then. So we spoke about Fury, Usyk, Daniel Dubois. I don't think Daniel Dubois has got a prayer, to be honest. Absolute no chance. I didn't see a round he won in that fight, me in that first one. So I don't know what all this about. He's a better fighter now. Who's he beat since then? Miller, Ergovic, and Joshua. Miller's shite. Ergovic's a planker one, and Joshua were finished. So that's where we're at. It's not exactly roadman killers. Joshua's a name, but he's not the Joshua of 5 years ago, is he?
It's a good way of analysing it. I mean, I think Ergwich has been up decline for the last two or three fights. He's said to have aged overnight. Miller's a walking punch bag. Um, just a tough kid. And like you say, Joshua, you can argue whether he were caught cold or not. He's been on the decline for some time. The only thing that's he's got a lot going for him, but I think the main thing that people are talking about with Dubois, and I think this holds water, is that he's really confident now. He's confident in his own ability. That also could be his undoing.
Listen, when you've got people like Superbean and Horsecock saying, last thing you lose is your power, and he's only got to hit him. When they're saying that, put your money on the other guy. That's what I say.
Yeah, I won't be betting against Usyk.
It's like
I
when
don't think.
go on, sorry.
I just won't bet against him.
When they're coming out with stuff like when Dave Allen were fighting Ortiz, they were saying, well, Dave Allen's a tough kid, he's durable, he's capable. That means back Ortiz.
Hey, listen, just a very quick story. I think I sent you a photo at betting slip.
Yeah,
On the last Fury fight, I picked all the winners
yeah,
for every fight on the card, and I had Fury to win.
yeah.
So Usyk cost me quite a bit of money that night,
2 grand,
and
was it?
I can't remember how much it was, but I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, so that's what I'm saying about betting. I've picked every single one. I also, luckily for me, had another bet just with Usyk beating Fury, so I sort of came out even. But I could have been on for a nice weekend away if Fury had won.
Oh, God. Well, if Fury beats Usyk in April, I'll be. So if Fury even fights him, I'll be amazed because we've got the Debar fight. Usyk's got him. Fury's saying he needs a warm up. He's not mandatory. There is other mandatories, and they're going to scream blue murder some of these managers of these other fighters. They mind Bricktop smoothing it and all that with everybody. Oh, Lawrence Okoli's going to be mandatory shortly. We've got Atoma, but and Derek Chisora and Wardley, but they're all Bricktop fighters. So Bricktop will be having a word in people's ear holes, won't he? Oh, you're gonna have to hold back because we're gonna do this. So by giving Fury the opportunity, if it happens, it's holding the belts hostage for other people not to get their chance. I don't agree with it. There shouldn't be putting statements out saying this fight's happening and that. What about the guys who are mandatory? It's wrong.
It is wrong. It's always been wrong, and they'll just do what they want with it. Just a final word on Usyk though is that I would not be surprised if after the Dubois fight he just turns around and just that's it, and nobody will convince him. It won't be money that convinces him to come back.
No.
So he won't be telling anybody. He'll make his mind up and just ride off into the sunset, and nobody will be able to do anything about it. They just won't. And unless Turkey Al Sheikh says, "Look, I'm going to give Ukraine $1 billion to help the war fund," he's not going to change his mind.
No.
He's not. So anybody can think what they want, but if he decides to hang him up after Dubois fights, and I think part of the reason he wanted the fight was because of this little bit of doubt that people have got, and he doesn't like that. That's my view. He don't like that people have got this little bit of a doubt,
Yeah.
and he wants to draw a line under it. After that, not that he's got anything to prove now, but what has he got to prove? Nothing.
You think that Don Charles has embarrassed himself and UK boxing by constantly going on about this low blow, no low blow, whatever? That's the only thing they're holding on to, isn't it? You think he's embarrassed himself?
He's embarrassed himself by calling him a cheat.
Yeah.
That is he's embarrassed himself there because, and he should apologise for that because he's not a cheat.
No.
I don't know if there's any. I don't know if there's any integrity at all in boxing. I like to think there's a bit, but if there is any integrity in boxing, there'd be a picture of Usyk's name next to that dictionary, wouldn't there? Because if there's anybody who is, and I don't know Usyk, he might eat children for breakfast. I don't know, but you kind of think that if there was somebody, he'd be it, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So to call him a cheat is abysmal in my view. So he's embarrassed himself from that. As regards trying to cast some controversy and try to, goad him into having a rematch and stuff like that, that's all fair game. But to label him a cheat is embarrassing and wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. If Usyk beats Dubois and he does, and he rides off into sunset, can we safely say he's a top 5 of all time?
Well, I think I don't like doing this because I've got so many fighters that logically and statistically maybe aren't the best of all time, but I've just got an emotional attachment to them either through watching them as kids or whatever, and first being exposed to boxing. But how can you argue that he isn't?
Yeah.
If you look at it objectively, how can you argue that he isn't? You just reeled his resume off 20 minutes ago. You can't argue with that. And just because he's not flash, just because he doesn't do things that other people have done in the ring other than win, sometimes it's a bit difficult to sort of put him in that category because of that reason. But statistically, and from what he's done, how can you argue that he's not in top 5?
Okay. Switching over quickly then to Fury. Who's Fury's best 4 wins?
You've got to say Wilder.
Who would he beat though? Just Stavern.
Yeah, but we're talking about Fury's best wins, so the pool's not that big.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got
So
Wilder.
so Wilder, you've got to say Klitschko, even though he was getting on. Nobody had done it, and
Yeah.
nobody had done him. And was he at the right time? Yes.
Yeah.
Was it a good game plan? Yes. Did he beat him really comfortably? Yes. It was a show. And no matter what you say, Klitschko did not have an answer.
Yeah.
So everything about that game plan worked. So you've got to say Klitschko. You've got to say, and again, this is only because the pool's small. You've got to say Dillian because he was a top 10 fighter at the time he fought him, and it was a fantastic KO, great punch. And then,
Is it an Hall of Fame CV though?
no, it's not an Hall of Fame CV. Well,
He's not a
it's
goat.
got to be, mate. No, it's got to be because he's held all the belts.
Yeah,
So just the fact that he's held all the belts, you're never going to prevent that from happening.
yeah,
Could he afford other people, more people? Yeah, and probably Chisora number 4. But that's saying something, isn't it? If Chisora's in your top 4,
yeah.
that's not good, is it?
No. Okay. Moving on to Crusher Ben and Eubank.
McDermott. I'm only joking.
Oh, sorry, go on. Yeah. Crusher Ben.
McDermott. I said
Yeah. Oh, you said what?
John McDermott. I'm only joking.
McDermott. If John McDermott had got the decision on the night, there wouldn't have been any Fury, would there?
No, no, no. It's a different story, is it?
Yeah. Conor Ben and Eubank rematch September. Does it happen? Calla says it don't happen.
Well, Caller's got no interest in that fight. Doesn't earn any money from it, I don't think. So he's going to say whatever he wants to say. If it's signed, it's happening. I
Yeah.
think what people need to ask is why there isn't a change in the rehydration clause. Why is that being allowed to go? Now everybody knows what he went through and how dangerous it was. Why is it going to be allowed to be done a second time?
Yeah.
Why isn't there a couple of pound difference in it, just £2 or £3, just to make it a little bit safer? It's not going to make any difference on night. The result's probably going to be the same result. We know that they're in it for money. We know that it's at a certain level. We know that it's going to be a decent fight to watch because they're on the same sort of level. They're not world beaters.
Yeah.
So why are they going to potentially risk somebody's life with duplicating an already known dangerous situation?
Yeah.
You wouldn't do it in normal life, would they? If there were a bad bend on East Borcher Road and there were 4 accidents a week on that road, they'd be putting some traffic lights up, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Well, they have, haven't they?
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah. 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 Okay. Okay. Yui's pulled out that fight, and we that Michael Pritton or whatever he's called, he pulled out. It's not happening for him, is it?
No, so what more can we say, mate? Other than let's talk about him when he's got 5 or 6 fights under his belt. Other than that, is he relevant?
No, he ain't. He's not relevant at all. Derek Chisora supposed to be fighting Parker again, but the GAD announced it. But I said, "Oh, I'd be surprised if it happens." It now looks like it's not happening. Do you think Derek will retire, or do you think he'll get a fight going with Miller? Because they look like they're trying to talk one up.
As much as I don't rate Miller, I think that's a bad move for Chisora. I don't know why he'd want a really hard fight. I mean, Jesus, he shouldn't be fighting. He shouldn't have fought his last 5 fights. The bloke. I don't want to. I don't. It don't bear thinking about what he's going to be like in 10 years, Derek. You know, we all know how boxing goes. It's not about right now, is it? It's about in the future. They stop people heading footballs in schools for a reason in some countries. So I just can't bear to think what he's going to be like in 10 years. Fingers crossed, he's fine and everything's okay. But he shouldn't be having one more fight. And he certainly shouldn't be having a war. He shouldn't be fighting Parker because that's a tough fight all night for him. And Parker deserves a shot, in my opinion. He should get a shot. So why he'd want to fight Chisora other than to try and put things right, maybe. But I think he should have a warm-up fight, Parker, and get a shot. So Chisora, I don't know. He needs to fight somebody who's relevant, but he's not gonna do him some damage in the ring. Another war. Fed
Okay.
up of seeing him in wars, to be honest.
That's what his middle name's War. Uh, the word around the campfire is Daddy Ford and Elmer Ford have gone quiet on Tibbo. That's the word. So, what do you think to that? And what do you think about the other rumor doing the rounds that it could be with a new trainer and it could be Rhino versus Fud free?
Um, look, somebody's always got to blame somebody. Who would you blame for that loss? Because it's not Tibbs.
I blame. Well, they say that Mark and his dad Jimmy said, "Don't take the Rhino rematch. You need a few more fights. You're still a bit raw." They went, "No, no, no. We're on a winning streak. We're going for it." Eddie were up for it. He were up for it. Daddy Ford, he's calling shots in the ear. Daddy Ford. They took it. They gambled. They lost first, and then they look for somebody to blame. First you're angry, then you're upset, then you look for somebody to blame. It's always the coach that seems to get it. If it is true, on him, and I know they are, because there's no on his social media. So they used to big him up all the time, Mark Tibbs. I think it's in bad taste because he don't make the match. Sometimes the trainer can only advise them. No, you shouldn't have him. You're not ready for him. But if they want to overrule the trainer, which it looks like that's gone on, is that in bad taste?
Well, they shouldn't be blaming him if he's been overruled and then he's been proven to be right. It's for them to sort of eat humble pie and say, right, we're going to listen to you in future. What do you think? What's our plan for the future to get somewhere, to get something out of this game? Because let's face it, Fisher, nice lad, big lad. He's never ever. He should never have aspirations for anything other than a British title, should he? That would be the pinnacle he could hope to achieve.
Yeah.
And maybe that's out of his reach, but that is his pinnacle, isn't it? That's what he should be aiming for, maximum.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So how do we get something out of this boxing game that we can finish and be happy with? That's what they should be doing with Tibbs. So if they've overruled him, it's for them to be, look, we made a mistake there. We need to be, Mark, we need to be listening to you in future. You've never steered us wrong. You've got us this far. Let's crack on. If that's not the case, well, shame on them. As regards Rhino Fisher, he's won lottery, hasn't he?
Oh, right.
Rhino, he's won lottery. So
Well, yeah, because
he
let's have it right. He's beat a novice guy who's got a massive following, and he's like gate crashed world title money for fighting somebody area level.
yeah. So it is, if a match with Fisher makes almost as much sense as putting himself in danger, they might not get as much money as fighting
Yeah.
he's a lot more dangerous than Fisher will ever be. Rhino might say, "Well, it's only 100 grand less. I'll knock Fisher out again, and then I'll move on to another fight."
Yeah.
So, from Rhino's perspective, he's won lottery. He's calling shots. But something's got to happen with Rhino quickly because that momentum will soon fade, won't it? If Rhino's out of the picture for another 6 months, he's back in the wilderness. He's got to strike while the iron's hot, hasn't he?
Well, he's signed with Eddie now, but it looks like they've parked him up, doesn't it? They're throwing names at him, but no, what's really happening. They're saying something's happening in September, but who? Who? And how they're going to sell Sheffield out? They could put every fighter in South Yorkshire on that show, and it still won't sell out, would it? We know that.
Do you think that something like an AJ fight to sell it to AJ, like, look, this is a great warm-up fight for you. It's going to make some dough because people are going to come and watch that. Do you think that'd be something that would sell, and do you think
Yeah,
that's something that appealed to Rhino and AJ?
there's only AJ or Fury that could sell Sheffield out. That's 10,000 at Sheffield Arena. There's only AJ or Fury that could sell that out. Anybody else against Rhino, they'd have to comp thousands, and then they'd still it'd be half full. So AJ or Fury against Rhino, that's a sellout.
Yeah, and I think they could sell that to because it's got so much momentum. You can see it, can't you? It's a warm-up fight for AJ. You can see Eddie, can't you? It's a warm-up fight for AJ. Dave's proven himself to be in shape now.
Yeah,
He's back at a decent level. He really should be top 15 based on his talent.
yeah.
It's not a 50-50 fight, but it can be dangerous for AJ, and all that cobblers.
Yeah, do you
Then
want to
you
do a
could see it
part two,
happening, couldn't
mate?
you?
You want to do a part two?
Sure, yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I've got some time.
send you a link now. All right.
All right, dude.
Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. We were joined by Richard in part one, and we'll be joined by Richard in part two. Go on, pop, pop, bang. Peace out.